Okay, I'm filming the intro after I painted the painting, and okay, let me just tell you now, this voiceover's gonna explain the whole process of like what was going on, but I am surprised. This is what happened with my last painting, and I think it's turned into like my style, because whenever, I don't know, this contrast of the knife paint and like the spread of the thick, is it called impasto of colours, and the contrast with the smooth skin tone and the semi-realistic face. This is for my GCSE art. I'm not a professional artist, so everything I say in this video, take it with a grain of salt, because I don't exactly know what I'm talking about. I'm like self-taught. Yeah, just looked at myself in the viewfinder. I'm looking a bit interesting, but that's okay. It's called putting your everything into your paint. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. If you want me to make a video about how I mix my colours and get the skin tones, just let me know and comment down below. Also, I've already painted the background black. This just makes it easier to merge the actual features of the portrait to the background and making it seem more natural rather than a harsh contrast, although it is still a little bit harsh. Now, I know when I'm in class, my friends tend to ask me where is a good place to start. I say that it doesn't matter too much, but I tend to start with the nose because I feel like it connects all the features, the mouth, the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead. I feel like it connects it all together and it's in the very center of the face. Now, I don't really have a good reason why I left the eye out. I just prefer to do the more fine details once I finish the bulk of the face. This painting will be going in my GCSE sketchbook, and for this we had to choose a theme. I chose fragments. Specifically, I wanted to cover the story of Ariel. The original was actually illustrated by Edmund Dulac, and Disney has sugar-coated and fooled all of us by the original story, which is a lot more gruesome and horrifying. I attempted doing this by putting an eyeball in the mouth, just because I feel like the black lashes creeping over the lips kind of shapes the whole mouth, and it adds a kind of like disturbing energy like coming off of it, as well as a little bit of blood, which you can't see very well in this image, creeping out from the lip and the eye. If you do know who the person in this image is or who the photographer is, please do let me know, because I do not know and I want to give them credit. Yeah, so the element of fragment can be explored in so many different ways. It can be really vast and out there, like that has nothing to do with actual fragments, but I thought incorporating the eyeball was kind of unique and added to that fragment theme, as well as to enhance the Ariel theme to that. At the end you'll see I started adding some scales, but you'll see, it wasn't quite as I planned. Yeah, and if you don't know already, the end really wasn't, I didn't plan that at all. I just kind of went with the flow. An idea popped into my head and I was like, you know what, let's just go for it, but you'll see what happened. So a technique that I've kind of learnt myself is when you're trying to blend two colours that are quite like harsh and different next to each other, it's really good to grab a dry, plain brush, not wet, not with any paint on, and just to try and fluff it around and blend it, because I find that really works to make it really smooth and seamless. So what I'm just noticing is that you can see around the side of the nose, it's kind of like a solid dark patch, as well as on the forehead in that dark corner, you can kind of see it's kind of like solid. If I was to do it again if I'd noticed that before, I probably would have gone in with a colour that's just between those two, the dark and the light, just to blend it out a bit more and extend the dark, so then it's not such a harsh difference from dark to light, which helps to show the form of the 3D and the shape of the actual nose and forehead. A tip when doing eyes is that your pupil isn't actually plain white. You've probably heard this before. It's slightly a tinted grey. In my image, I've kind of exaggerated that grey. You probably wouldn't want to do it that much, just because I wanted to give it that deathly, eerie kind of theme and supernatural feel to it. Another thing is that I've made the pupil really dilated, just to make it kind of abnormal, a little bit strange, adding to the kind of deathly unrealistic effect, as well as kind of I changed each of the eyes colour. With the first one, you can see, like in the mouth, you can see it's a kind of greeny bluey. With the right eye, the one that's furthest, it's like a dark blue, and with the one that I wanted to pop out the most, it is a white. I find that really enhances the eye and helps draw attention to it, because it's quite unusual, and you wouldn't tend to find someone with a silvery white eye, would you? Another thing I wanted to tell you is that although you can't really see the eyelashes that well, I accidentally did them a little on the thick side. I'm not sure what was going on. I'm gonna blame it on the paintbrush, even though I use the same paintbrush every time. But yeah, I would normally do it a bit more thin and fine and elegant, rather than thick and chunky. This is also a point where my camera ran out of battery. That's why the neck has already been done, and I accidentally did that off camera. And another thing you want to focus on is where the light is coming from in your image. In my image, it is specifically coming from the left side, from the way I'm facing the left side, so you can see the highlights are more enhanced on the left shoulder, whereas on the right shoulder, they are a lot darker. Now it's coming up to the exciting bit. I started mixing some blue colours to do the scales, like I said before, and then when I was making the colour and spreading the palette knife, I realised it creates a really cool effect. It almost ripples to the paper/canvas and creates like a bumpy, scaly effect, which really enhanced the fish theme I wanted to go for. This is all kind of a mistake. I dropped the lid of the white. As you can see, I decided to dot that everywhere, as well as the hair. I just can't do hair, so palette knife it is. I'm really happy with the end result. It was a journey, okay, and I'm glad I videoed it, because it was quite an interesting journey, how all of a sudden I decided to spread the palette knife and scratch a couple strokes across the sheet, and it ended up looking, in my opinion, pretty cool. I also used the side of the palette knife to create these lines, which I feel like are a key effect of me. It kind of ties the whole thing together, as well as the mistaken dots, which the dots made from the white paint lid, which ended up turning into the thing that ties the whole bubble and like underwater theme all together. And finally, we've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe if you want to see more. Also, I am interested to know your opinions on what you think of my painting, and also what you would like to see me do in the future. But for now, see you next time.